or I'm going to talk about them a little bit, and then you guys are going to do a little bit of exploring as well. I'm going to pull up since I have a majority in phys ed, I'm going to open up the phys ed one for now. So I can talk about it, and then you guys are going to do a little bit of work on your own. It doesn't help much with these broken blinds, but okay. So everybody should look similar to this. This is a check sheet. This is what we use to keep track of your class, or one way that we use to keep track of your classes that you're taking. There's a couple other things that we use, but this is the general one. Couple things to note. If you can see my cursor here in class, I hope. We're going to start actually on the right-hand side. You can look on your sheet as well, because these are all the same in this case. This is what's called the mission component of classes. Your mission component of classes are William Penn components. These are requirements that every student at William Penn is going to take, okay? If you transfer it in, it's going to look a little bit different. But generally, everybody that starts from year one, freshman year, you're going to have to meet these mission requirements, okay? Sometimes a lot of those are transferred in. So if you do transfer in from another university, or if you've already been here, of course you've already taken them, but they're, as you can see, the first one's College Foundations. Then you have Comp 1 and 2, Computers and Tech, Principles of Communication, which is speech class. Arts and Society 1 and Arts and Society 2 are both humanities courses, okay? You can take one or the other, but you guys as secondary majors are also gonna have to take another humanities course as a requirement, and I'll show you that here in a second. So you could take Arts and Society 1 and Arts and Society 2 to hit that other requirement. Quaker Values, which is about Quaker values, right? Because we're at a Quaker college. And then Contemporary Leadership, okay? It should be generally one of the last courses you take. Some people take them out of order, but Contemporary Leadership is kind of one of those ending courses. So that's your mission component. And everybody here at Penn takes those classes, okay? The next section is the liberal arts core. And a liberal arts core is, we are a liberal arts institution. So everyone that's taking a liberal arts program then takes liberal arts classes. These are the liberal arts requirements. Math 105. And I'll talk about a couple other classes with math here in just a second. Any lab science. Okay, so a science that has a lab. For most of you, if you're in PE, of course, or if you're planning on getting your coaching certification, your coaching endorsement, you'll take anatomy and physiology, and that counts for that lab science class. Okay, you have to take anatomy and phys to get your coaching endorsement. Area 3 is humanities, and like I said, you can take Arts and Society 1 and Arts and Society 2 and get that humanities credit that you need there. You can't just take Arts and Society 1 and have it count for the humanities. Okay, you're going to take two classes there. So other humanities courses could be literature courses, drawing, painting. We have some photography. There's any of the music courses. If you do, sometimes they have acting and plays, and you can actually do, I think you can do work on the sets or the lighting and things and get that counted as your humanities credit as well. Well, that was area 3, excuse me, and I said 4. Area 4 is Psych 303. That's developmental and ed psych. Okay, it talks about developmental meaning children, okay? And then education is in reference to a lot of the education philosophies. And that's one of the very last courses that you guys will take as ed students. It prepares you, it helps to prepare you for one of the 2 exams that you have to take to get your license, okay? It's one of the 2 exams is called the PLT. It's over the kind of how to teach, not the content piece. And they reference several of the ed philosophies in that test. So that's one of the last ones you take for us. Area 5 is any survey history course, which we don't have too many history courses offered here that aren't survey history courses. And so there's any number of them that you could take with either, Professor Henderson, Professor Sherrard, and there's a few others that are doing some adjunct work for us now. And then the last one, Area 6, is Religion 300, any religion course, okay? So there's several different religion courses that you can take as well. So I mentioned some math. So Math 105 and English Comp 1 and 2, you can't, depending on what your testing scores were from high school or your high school grades, you may be taking Math 090 or LDRS 90, okay? Both of those are to prepare you for English Comp 1 and Math 105, okay? I'll tell you a story. So when I was high school, I was a little head on math. And so I took some of the requirements that I needed early on in my high school career. So like I'd taken Algebra 1, I took Algebra 2, I think I took Geometry my sophomore year. And then I only needed, for my graduation, I only needed like a half a semester of math or something like that, because I'd already gotten some credits in middle school for some of the math classes I'd taken. So I took like, I think it was computer math or something. That's all I took. And then I didn't take any more math the rest of my junior year or my senior year. And then I got to Iowa State and I took the math placement test and I failed it. And then I had to take high school math over again. And then I failed it. And then I had to take a different math class to replace it. So, 090 should, if you put your good effort into it, if you're taking 090, should prepare you for Math 105. Math 105 is no joke though. It's tough, okay? When we get down here, there are, I should have done this before. These are requirements as well. You have to have a C- or better in college level math, Comp 1 and 2, your survey history course, speech, computer, and your lab science course, okay? And for an ed student, which you guys are all ed students, right? You really have to have a C- or better in all your content courses and all your education courses as well. Here's a tip though, a C-, if you got all C- straight through, you're not gonna have the 2.5 you need to get into the TEP, and you're definitely not gonna have the 2.75 to student teach, okay? So you really need a majority of C or better, okay? If you have too many C-, it's just not gonna get you the GPA that you need, okay? So we're one of the few departments that really has the more strict regulations on grade point as far as what grades you receive, okay? So mission component, like I said, university, those are university requirements. Liberal arts is because we are a liberal arts college. The C- or better is for education. And there's a couple of added things on here. I'm not gonna talk about the special ed one right now. I will talk about coaching endorsement right now. And if you have questions on special ed, we can talk about it later. The coaching endorsement, if you are a PE major, the coaching endorsement is already in your program, okay? So PE health, you will get a elementary certification to teach PE and health, and a middle school, high school certification to teach PE and health, and elementary for health, secondary for health. So you're getting 4 endorsements there basically, plus a coaching endorsement, which is your 5th one. So you'll have 5 endorsements by the time you leave the program. If you are like John is biology chem, if he wants to get his coaching endorsement, he can. He just needs to take these 4 classes or have credit for them already if he's already taken them, okay? And that's the same for any of you. If you're English or you're social sciences or you're industrial tech, or if you're not a PE major and you're a secondary ed person and you want your coaching, you have to take these 4 courses. So hold on to that question, John, and then maybe I'll take it here in just a second. So biology 216, which is anatomy and phys. 218, prevention and care. That's taking care of, sports injuries and things like that. A theory course, so 240 plus. There's different theory courses. You have, there's basketball theory. There is coaching football theory. There is baseball. There's softball. There's a track and field theory course. Volleyball. I don't know. We don't have all the sports yet because when we added all those new sports, we didn't necessarily add theory courses for them yet. So like lacrosse and some of those others, we don't have theory courses for yet, but I would expect them at some point. And then the last one is that developmental ed psych. You're going to take that class anyway. Okay. John, what was your question? With these on it? I don't. I can add it to yours from my office. And so to the left of everybody's sheet, you should have all these same classes. Okay. These are the secondary education professional core. Okay. That means that every secondary education major takes these classes. Okay. I'm not going to go through all of them in detail. I'll give you a brief overview though. Intro to Ed, of course, we're in that right now, right? Social Foundations, which is history of education, ed law. We talk about ethics and we talk about school governance. There's a lot of pieces to that. That EDUC 205, you don't have to worry about. Nobody has to worry about that in here, okay? Unless your advisor's already talked to you about it. So I'm going to skip it. EDUC 350, Media Methods, is a technology in the classroom course. Okay, I teach that one. And so we do a lot of stuff with projects. Each week there's projects on how to integrate technology into your teaching. 355, Classroom Management. What do you guys think that's about? What am I managing? I'm managing my classroom. Go ahead, Max.
Managing a classroom.
Well, what do you mean? Give me more than that.
Behaviorally, I would say. Or maybe organizational skills. So lesson planning, resources. Okay, resources is kind of broad.
That's good. We'll hold it there, okay? Definitely all those things, but most specifically will be behavior management, okay? You'll spend time. This is a class where you should make a some sort of behavior management plan. So that would be obviously behavior of your students. Content area reading, so that's reading in your content area. If I am a business endorsed person, if I'm going to be a business teacher, I would have readings in the business area, but you're talking about reading in that class. Human relations for teachers, working with others. EDUC 380 is general methods. So there's 2 methods courses you take. You will take one that is a special methods course, which is in your area. There's one that you'll take that is general methods, that is with me right now. I'm the one that teaches that class. And so general methods is methods of teaching. It's one of the later courses that you'll take. And so therefore we talk about everything: lesson planning, behavior management. There's field experience that you will do. We'll talk about things like getting ready for a job. We'll address things like getting ready for student teaching. It's kind of a overall teaching course. Your special methods, which in this case, since I'm using a PE health one, it says PE health methods. That's usually taught by Betsy Luck. She's a middle school teacher over here at Oskaloosa. And in addition to having class, you have to do field experience for that class as well. And you'll do that right with her at the middle school. Okay. That's for PE specifically. Other major areas will have different people teaching their special methods course. I'll teach the science one. I'm not sure who's, the business one would be probably Dave Minert, which is right next door here. I'm not sure on social studies and English right now. The next course listed is EDUC 402. Okay, that's your student teaching. Okay, that's the last class you will take. And then EDSB 100, Intro to Exceptional Learner, is kind of an introduction to special education. And then that next course, EDSB 387, is differentiated instruction. That's also for mainly for special education, but also for things like talented and gifted. So working with students on both sides of that spectrum. And then that Psych 303 is listed there. Okay, questions on those? I know I'm going kind of fast. Okay, this section here, for all of you, is your content area courses, okay? Content courses are specific to your endorsement area. That's why I asked all of you. Everything else on these sheets should look the same, exactly the same, except for this piece, okay? So if you're PE Health, you're gonna have different classes than if you're Biology Chem, okay? It's your content. This is how you are a specialist in your area, okay? And so these I'm definitely not gonna go through because I'd have to talk about every single different area, and I'm not gonna spend time doing that. But some things to remember with college courses. What does it mean when I go up from a 100 level course to a 200 level course to a 300 level course to a 400 level course? What does that mean? They could build off each other. That's definitely the case. And when you look at things like PHLE, oh, yours are different now. This is an old check sheet that I'm showing on the board. Yours will have KINS. It should have on yours. But fundamental concepts of HPER, right? And then we have tests and measures in HPER. And then we have org administration of HPER. Those are courses that build off of one another. So you're not going to take tests and measures before you take fundamental concepts, right? Because you're using that knowledge from one to build into the next, okay? Good point. What else can I tell when I go from 100 to 200, 300 to 400? John? Right. The courses are going to be getting more difficult, okay? They're not always going to be more difficult. It depends. You're going to have different topics in different areas, and you might have different interests in those topics, but generally the requirements of the course are going to be more difficult, okay? More will be expected of you in a 300 level class than in a 200 level class, and definitely more than a 100 level class if it's a 300 level class, right? So as you progress up that scale, things are getting more and more difficult. The requirements will be greater. The content may be more difficult to understand, okay? And like Everett was saying, you're building off of one another, right? So you're taking that knowledge, you're taking the knowledge from fundamental concepts, and you're gonna apply it in tests and measures and org admin, right? Okay, at least as far as the PE is concerned, okay? So it's that process of building, okay? Couple things to note. We're not gonna plan a schedule. You can assume then, okay, here's another thing that I want you to think about. You can assume then that your 100 and 200 level courses are taken generally when? At what grade levels? They're not grades, but what level of student? Yeah, freshmen, sophomores. Your 200 and 300 level courses into your junior year, right? By your senior year, a good portion of your classes should be 300 level courses, usually. Okay, it just depends on what's available. And you're going to take some things out of order, okay? It just depends. You might not take that theory course, that 240, until you're a junior or senior, okay? Which is okay, you know? It's just where those things fit into your schedule in order to take them. In that theory course, it doesn't matter. That theory course, you're not going to build off that necessarily in your other courses. And so it's what you might call a one-off. So you can put that anywhere in your schedule, okay? That makes sense? How many people have talked to their advisors about their schedule and about it like the check sheet? Good. Good portion of you. Good. If you haven't yet, that's something you can do. And you can take that with you, okay? Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Advisor, I got this in Ed 100. Can we talk about the courses in here a little bit more? Okay, and they should be able to do that with you, okay? A tricky thing for education is, like myself, as a mostly secondary ed advisor, which I guess 100%. I don't do any elementary anymore. I do all secondary. I'm not a PE expert. I'm not a English language arts expert. I'm not a social studies expert. I'm not a music expert. My area of expertise was biology, right? Science, the sciences. So that's where I have the most knowledge. But I've spent enough time here and I've advised enough people that I know about your other courses, or a good portion of them, okay? So another thing you can do if you're unsure about what the class is about, and maybe your advisor doesn't have a whole lot of information beyond what's right here for you, because this is going to tell you about every single class, is talk to somebody in that area, okay? If it's a KINS kinesiology course, you could talk to Jennifer Peterson. You could talk to Gary Christopher, okay? You could probably even talk to Glenn Steinling, because they're going to have the knowledge on it. If it's a business course, talk to the division chair, Dave Miner, who's right next door, okay? Social studies, talk to Stephen Henderson, okay? I'm going to have general knowledge, but they're going to have more expert knowledge of those courses, okay? So I want to spend a few minutes, not very many. We'll go about 6 minutes. I want you to look at your content area courses in that course catalog, okay? So open it up, find those courses, read through them. You're going to see a couple things. It's going to give you the number of credits that they're worth. It's going to tell you, many of them are going to tell you offered in the fall or offered in the spring. They may even say offered in spring of odd years. It might say offered fall and spring, okay? But take a little time, read through them, and look through the courses specifically to your content area right now. You guys at home, you can hang out for about 6 minutes because I don't have course catalogs online. I couldn't find one. So if you guys want a hard copy, you can stop by my office. I've got some that I'll keep for you. Of course, my tools are all on the way. So when I start playing this, watch the student in the bottom left corner, what he does, and then watch her face. Oop. I didn't go back quite far enough. You kind of saw it, but.
I know you'll enjoy this. So on the count of 3, we will flatten our words.
So what'd she do there? What was the student doing? Right, he was either putting it in there or pretending he was putting it in there, okay? That's gonna happen, right? And she caught it, and what'd she do? She gave him the look, right? The teacher look. At some point, you guys are all gonna get your teacher look. You'll learn what your teacher look is, and you'll learn what your teacher voice is. I can tell you when I watch student teachers, it's always awesome when I'm in a classroom and that the student or the teacher look comes out or the teacher voice comes out after I've been watching you as students for all this time, and then I get to see the teacher voice or teacher look. So she gave him that look, and then he knew, right? Oh, I shouldn't be doing that. And he stops, okay? So that was really about it for behavior. There wasn't many other things. I'd say her encouragement to get students to do stuff would be some sort of classroom management as well. I can have the eyes up here, that'd be great. She encouraged that student she's like, okay, nope. I want you to show me the symbol, right? So I'll wait till everybody's ready. you know, all those pieces, those engagement pieces are classroom management things, okay? They may not look like it. I'm not correcting somebody in class, but I'm encouraging you to do stuff. I'm getting you to be involved, right? Those are all classroom management tools, okay? Because if you're involved with me and we're doing stuff, then you're less involved with putting clay in somebody's hair or, you know, screwing around in class. So great tools. A couple things that I want to mention about her. Let me ask you, what are some things that maybe you think she didn't do so well or that she could have improved on? Let me say it that way. Anything that you saw that you, go ahead. Right, she could have had all those materials ready to go and already passed out, okay? Definitely, that efficiency, okay? It makes a difference in a classroom. What else, John?
I guess I've taken enough science classes where like they seem kind of older, and so she didn't really clarify like what they need to know, like what the objectives were. Like you're going to be tested on this.
Right, and we didn't get a full. This is a snippet of time. And she could have gone over, you know, today's objective or whatever before we get into the video, but definitely, you know, highlighting some of those main points. Did you notice anything about the clay that she used versus the example she used up on the board? Yeah, they were different colors. She had all the right colors, but either she forgot or she just got them out of order. And then when she asked a question, she said, "Hold up your ectoderm," or whatever, and a student held one up. Well, it matched the one on the screen, but it didn't match the one that she had given out and used. So it was confusing to students. So simple thing, just make sure that what you have, your examples are going to match up so that your students can understand that, okay? One other thing that I think, and I get in the same habit, is I'll ask a question of everybody. I'll ask a group question instead of saying, "Hey, Cameron, tell me about this," or asking everyone to have their hands up and then calling on students. She did a lot of general questions, right? And when you do a lot of general questions, students that don't want to answer, they can hide really easily because they don't have to. And if it is, sometimes you can have competing answers. So they're maybe not quite the same or they're said differently. And then when everybody says them, it's hard to hear the right answer. You have students that want attention and they're always going to answer over the top of everybody else, right? So it's okay to have general questions, but she relied on general questions quite a lot in there, I thought. And it was a little confusing at times on what she was wanting or who she was asking. And so, you know, just clarifying those things, I think would have made it just a little bit sharper. But she's a great teacher, right? She did a great job, I think. Okay, good. We're going to be doing this again with some other videos. I'm going to try to get some specialized videos or find a few so that PE people can watch PE and shop can watch shop and social studies can watch social studies, etc. I may not have one for everybody, but I'm going to try. No homework for you this weekend. So that's pretty nice, right? If you want to keep those course catalogs, by all means, keep them. This thing has all the information in it for you about your program and your, not specifically about your program, but about all the classes and about William Penn. And this is your catalog year. 2021 is your catalog year, okay? So when we say catalog year, this is the reference piece for you for your program, okay? Questions? Okay, have a good weekend. Yes.